So many times I fell, but I just had to accept it. I was running out of time, but look, I had to reset it. I was married to the game, but we ain't had no reception. I was trying to find a way like I ain't had no direction. And I almost dropped my collar like I had no connection. But I had to perfect it. I know it's special, so I gotta protect it. Ain't gotta love it, but they gotta respect it. They about to watch this like I gotta protect it. My body different like I got epilepsy. I needed help, but they just got up and left me. Weight on my shoulder and it gotta be heavy. I bet it all so much I gotta be Teddy. My time is coming, so I gotta be ready. You know I gotta be ready. Before we clean up, you know it gotta get messy. I had to cut some people off, I went and got the machete so I can put it back together like Ashanti and Nelly.
Yo, bro, you don't understand. I'm here crying.
Peace out, it's your boy Vinny Venom, the Commission Cypher. I got a special guest with me here today. I want to introduce y'all to up-and-coming artist, man. He's based out of New York, Jamison. I know y'all been seeing him around. He got that crazy record with Papoose right now. He got an incredible record with Jim Jones, and he's got more music to come. So first and foremost, CJ, salute, man. I appreciate you coming up here with me, man. How's everything?
Everything good. I salute Vinny too, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely, man. Pleasure, man. Before we jump into it, man, I want to share y'all a story. So I get a call, right, about an artist that needed some assistance as we get him, as we get an artist ready at TuneCore to present to the masses, right, and get records ready. And I get sent this record. It's called Living, and it shit touched my soul off top. And I remember talking to Pap, big homie Pap. Yo, who is this guy? He starts telling me who it is. You come connected with Pap and his family. So, first and foremost, the thing for me is when I first heard your record, man, there's a lot of passion in the music, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about your journey. But the first thing I want to ask you, CJ, is number one, where you from, where you represent, and how long you been doing music now?
I was born in South Carolina, Orangeburg, South Carolina, but I was raised since I was one in Brooklyn, New York. So I represent New York because that's who made me who I am. But I never forget South Carolina, and I also spent time in Florida, a lot of years in Florida. So those places made me who I am as family, as being a family-oriented guy, as being a person, as getting to know myself, and as being a man. I would say Florida later on.
Okay.
So I just represent struggle everywhere, realness everywhere, vulnerability. I'm just learning a lot about music and learning that you can be real and tell people your story, and that's exactly what I did with Living. So to hear you say that, Vinny, that mean a lot to me. I just told where I was
Yeah.
at, you know what I mean, exactly at
Yeah.
that point. And
Nah,
that's
it was an incredible record when I first heard it. And I just remember, like, you never know. Like, when I get a call from managers or artists or whoever need helps on the TuneCore side, because we run the hip hop division at TuneCore,
yeah.
um, you never know what you get into, right? You might run into some shit and it's crazy fire. You might run into some shit and it's terrible, right? It's whack. But once I heard it, man, I just felt it because for me, real music is like, it touches, like, real music to me, it provokes an emotion from you, right? It can make you laugh, it can make you cry, it can make you think, right?
Right.
It can make you feel. And when I heard that record, I felt you, you know what I'm saying? And I think that that's a skill and that's a talent, my God, that number one, I salute, I appreciate. But I think it's needed in the culture now because there's just so much facade and faking. And I don't think people really realize that, like, we humans to this shit, right? We go through things, right? And that record with Jim is beautiful. Before I talk a little bit about the Jim collab and kind of how y'all came together, tell me a little bit how long you been rapping. Like how long have you been a rapper, and I guess how long have you been converted into an artist now?
I've been a rapper all my life, man. Since I can remember, I always loved music. I fell in love with music in a church. You know, my
Wow.
family is the best of both worlds. You got some heavy in the streets and some heavy in the church. So I just like to be honest with people. Like
Wow, that's dope.
I, I just really like to be honest. But I fell in
Got
love
to
with
be.
music in the church, and then from older cousins and doing my own exploring and finding different artists. I was I felt like music did something for me, especially rap.
Hmm.
Listening to different records and seeing different waves as I grew up. But I've been doing music all my life. I always been an artist. I didn't know. I always wanted to be a singer. A lot of. I'm gonna get this to Vinny. A lot of people don't know that. I always wanted to be a singer. I always thought I was an
Okay.
R&B singer before anything. And then
Hey
it kind
man,
of
you can
transitioned
still make
to the
that happen. You can still make that happen, bro. You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
That's where that kind of melodic flow kind of come in.
It makes sense.
It's for me. Yeah,
That's amazing, bro. That's
yeah.
amazing.
I
So,
sung in choirs and a chorus, everything.
oh, okay.
Always
Wow.
wanted to
So
be a singer, man. Yeah.
that's dope, man. But
And you couldn't tell me I couldn't sing.
that. Hey, man, shit. Ain't nobody gonna tell you nothing, man. You know, like you was there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you learning. I think in a church setting is so important because usually a lot of the time in the church setting, you have to learn how to read notes, right? You got to learn everything from the top to
yeah,
bottom. And, being in that environment, I'm pretty sure you had a great education on that. So, and I hear it through the music. There's
yeah,
sometimes I'll hit you, like, you'll be rhyming in a flow where I could tell that you in key, right? I could tell you in that pocket, right? Sometimes how the beat lays. So that shit, you got to be born to do it. You got to be born to have that shit. Like you can't really be taught that, right? Like you got to really have it in you. So that's amazing, bro. Early on in CJ's career, C. Jameson's career, like who are your biggest influences, right? So whether it be hip hop, whether it be you know soul music or whatever kind of genres you came up listening to, who were some of your biggest influences coming up?
Definitely. I think the biggest wave I ever seen in my life was 50 Cent. So 50 was a big influence on me. I think in my life where I was able to understand what was going on, 50 Cent. So you got 50 Cent, my favorite rapper. It's between him and Hove, him and Jay.
Okay,
It's kind of
Jay,
like
Jay and 50.
and then
It ain't bad, brother.
it kind of also helped that they both from New York as well. And Jay
That
being
don't
from
hurt
the
at all.
side where I'm from too. So
Okay,
um them I always love Music Soul Child. It's one of my favorite artists.
he's incredible, man.
Um he don't get enough credit.
I agree.
Um
I agree.
who really like the T.I.'s, Fabulous,
Okay.
Lil Wayne for sure.
Wheezy.
Those
Yeah, man.
guys definitely influenced me. Bobby Womack. A lot of people probably wouldn't expect that, but I listen to like my dad used to play a lot of Bobby Womack. So
Classic.
Bobby Womack, um, I'm real familiar with him as well.
Okay. Now that's amazing, bro. That's amazing. I
Yeah.
think I think sometimes like when I look back at what inspired me to be in hip hop in general, there's like eras of artists, right? I can go back all the way to the beginning. Like I remember one of my first introductions to hip hop was Heavy D and the Boys, right?
Mhm,
And I had a Fisher Price tape deck. Like my mom's had got me one of them kid joints, and I probably let
mhm.
that thing ride, until I was, 8, 9 years old. But I just remember getting those tapes, and then you kind of graduate to the CDs, and then what you talk about 50, the mixtape era. I mean, that's
Yeah.
prime real estate right there.
That changed
Um,
everything.
absolutely, absolutely. I got some cool shit coming, bro. That now that we talking and I'm kind of getting the idea in my mind, y'all hearing this shit first, but I got something coming in the memory of our brother DJ K Slade that I'm excited to be a part of. And it has to do
Mhm.
with that era of mixtapes, right? And some of the records and B-sides and unreleased that you'll never hear. They're not on YouTube, right? They're not on Spotify, they're not on iTunes. And you might be familiar with some of that material. So I'm gonna definitely get your thoughts on that and bring you up here and we'll have a session and
And
listen to some things, you know what I mean?
I do want to mention somebody else too. I want to mention Boom Pacino in my
Okay.
neighborhood. Boom P. He's the author of Respect Life. He made this web series Respect Life. If anybody familiar with that, that was my big brother. He was like definitely a big influence on me as well. I don't want to forget Boom because Boom definitely the whole MGB, my team, my Permanent Stain. Shout out to Permanent Stain for sure. But Boom was definitely like in my neighborhood the guy, and he was a big influence on me as far as musically.
Wow. Shout out to him, man. That's
Rest
amazing.
in peace. Rest in peace to Boom P. I just wanted to
RIP.
throw that. Yeah.
Nah, most definitely, man. A lot of people have impressions on us, right? That are no longer here physically. So yeah, we always want to represent them and make sure their legacy and their memory, right, stays afloat as long as we breathing, right? So
Right.
I salute that. So fast forward, let's talk a little bit about permanent stain, right? I've been fortunate and really I'm honored to work, side to side with y'all to get a lot of this music out, right? So talk to me a little bit about permanent stain, and that's the label, right? That's the crew, that's the clique.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about permanent stain and some of the people behind the scenes that you work with. How'd you link up with them, and what brought them into the forefront of what you're doing?
So the CEO, my cousin Mars, that's family. Um,
Shout out to Mars,
Mars
man.
called me at a time. He called me at a time saying, "Yo, cuz, I want to do this label." And I ain't gonna lie to you, Vinny. And you know what's crazy? The interview was right around this time. Last year, this time, me and Mars had a conversation. He called me. He wanted to talk to me. He wanted to chop it up. He was like, "Man, I want to start this label, da da da." And I'm like, exactly last year around this time, right before Thanksgiving. And I was like, I'm done with rap. I ain't
Oh
gonna lie to you.
wow,
I'm done with music. I'm gonna give it one more good shot next year, and I'm done with it. You know what I'm saying? He like, nah, cuz just rock with me. I'm gonna do this. I got this. I want to do this. And I'm like, I done have all my life. It's certain things that happen in my life that people will be surprised. I'm talking about major labels and people with, distribution deals and everything. Since I was
right,
16 years old, have been talking to me about signing a deal or different things, and things never go through. So I got to
right,
a point as I got older to feel like, I feel like my music is special. And I got to a point where I feel like I don't want to keep putting music out and I feel like it ain't getting heard.
right. I feel
So
that. I feel that.
I kind of was over it. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. But I told the cuz we gave it a shot, and man, I ain't gonna lie. Within the first 6 months, I had two big records with hip hop legends. You know what I'm saying? So it was like it had to be meant to be. It had like permanent stain. Shout out to Mars. Shout out to Cali, Chunk, Rover,
Right.
Scoop. Shout out to Meaty. Shout out to the whole gang. Shout out to
Yeah.
On. Shout out to everybody. Vino, Pappy. Shout out to Pat, Thuggication. You already know the big homie, big brother.
Big homie. That's the big.
Shout out
That's
to
the. That's
everybody, man.
that's dope, man. That's
Family.
incredible, man. That's that. I love
Yeah.
that family aspect of it, right? Because I've been. It's crazy. Me and Mars laugh about it. Like I probably seen Mars probably a dozen times, and
Mhm.
never knew it was him or whatever. Like he might have not known it was me, and he's like, "Oh, that's Vinny." So I just been around. I've been working with Pat for so long that his family ideally is in turn my family, right? So we all kind of work with each other. We all help each other out because I think this industry sometimes can fuck you up, right? Where
Yeah.
like you said, you just get done with it. You're like, yo, fuck it. I don't want to do this shit no more, right? I'm gonna just fall back. I'm gonna do some regular shit. And I think it takes a unique set of people to come together and do it the right way, right? Because this industry's tainted, bro. You know what I mean? This
Right.
industry is tainted, so it's hard to maneuver through that, right? So I'm glad you with family and salute the whole family, man. It's
Absolutely.
dope that y'all had that energy. Um, so real quick,
And
I know
big
your
shout out,
time.
big sorry, bro. Big shout out to
You
Pap.
good?
I just want to stamp that in there. Pap has really been guiding me and being a great mentor. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yep.
really do appreciate, what he's done. You know what I mean? He don't have to take nothing out of his time. Like, so it's the family, man. For real.
Nah, man. Salute Pat, man. He's one of those. He's one of those guys that he's just genuine, right? His heart is pure, and
That
he's always gonna be one of those guys that I always speak heavily about. Me, shit. He gave me my first opportunity, right? Shit. Rest in peace, K Slay. I mean, he was the first guy that introduced me to Pap, right? If it wasn't for Slay, I wouldn't be sitting here now. Without Pap, I wouldn't be sitting here now, right? So, Pat plays a huge part in a lot of our lives. So yeah, we always want to give him his due and give him his flowers, especially while he's still here. Now, speaking of Pap, talk to me about this record you got out now. It's burning up right now. Um, MTV, BET jams, all that's coming to the video. Like the video is out now, but you're gonna start to see it through the airwaves and the video waves soon. Tell me a little bit about the record and how it came together with you and Pap jumping on the joint.
so I definitely wanted to work with Pap. I sent him two records. He played the first one. I believe he listened to it, but I believe when he heard "Feel Like," it wasn't even done. And he said, I just remember him being told. He said that's the one. So you know what I mean? It's just an honor. Like, and I just that's for the spitters. And I loved it because I got to see a lot of people. They don't realize they realize the lyricism, but not the versatility of Papoose. So it's
That's a
great to
fact.
see the versatility of Paps. You know what I mean? Because he can really do it. You know what I mean? Get in rap anyway.
Hmm.
So that was great. And then following the living record, you got to see the versatility of C. Jamison because it wasn't the melodic thing you was first. You know what I mean? Used to. So I feel like that was great. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
I just think the chemistry on the record was crazy. Even in the video, we both had on blue. It wasn't even playing.
That's crazy. Now
It
you
was
you right
crazy.
you right about that, and that's one thing. That's one thing I loved about your rollout. Right, is the feeling came first, and it was just that it was different from feel like right, and I think that's when you
Yeah,
switch them up. That's where you switch it
yeah.
up on them. Right, you go from southpaw to unorthodox, and you go in there and you strike where you need to. So. But yeah, great, crazy record. I encourage everybody. The link will be down in the description, so make sure y'all click on it, stream it, share it with your friends, share it with everybody. If y'all like lyricism and bars and spitting, um, both C. Jamison and Pap came through on that record, so
We
make sure I go
outside,
support.
man. We back outside. Me and Pat was outside in Brooklyn and Bed-Stuy. We was outside, man.
Yeah, I remember I got a clip of him shooting a video, right? And I didn't
Huh?
know it was for your record at the time. I think this was before me and you had linked up. And he was spit like I heard some of the bars, and I was like, "Yo, what the fuck is that?" And he was just laughing. He said, "Yo, it's for this artist, man. You're gonna hear it soon." And sure as shit, I heard it, and I was like, "Wow, y'all both spazzed on that." So salute to y'all. That's an incredible joint. So I know our time's limited, so obviously I appreciate your time, man. I'm super happy to have you on the platform, man. I want to talk with you before we go about Jim. Jim Jones is one of those guys that I think is underrated in the sense of working with a lot of up and coming artists, right? I think Jim's one of those guys that we look at history from the Dipset and really up to his current status where he's always working with young artists, right? And I love that about Jim. Tell me a little bit how you linked up with Jimmy on a living record.
That's through
How
the
that come
home
about?
team. That's through the home team. Spook. He's a part of Permanent Stain. So Spook and Mars put that together. Um, that's family, some ties too. So that was a blessing too, man. When I heard the record, man, I was like, we got the capo we needed, man. We
That's
definitely got
amazing.
capo when he talking that talk. So shout out to capo as well, man. I appreciate that look and that opportunity as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Jim is like I said, Jim is he's another one of those guys that I salute, man. I had a couple run-ins with Jim throughout the years, and my first job actually in music, bro, was street team for Dipset. I came through
Wow,
Jewels, and I think I worked on Jim's first album was like one of my first street team gigs, and he was always a cool cat. He was crazy because I remember seeing him in the studio. Were you in the studio with him with this record, or did y'all
nah,
email it?
nah. Email.
Let me tell you something. He was one of the first guys I ever seen not write no rhymes, bro. He had no pen, no pad. He would just go off the top. What the hell? Like it was insane. I had never seen that before, bro.
That's what I do
Um,
too.
yeah, it's amazing. Pappy doing the same shit too. Pappy falling asleep, he wake up and spit that crazy shit. So I don't know how y'all do it, but man, that shit's amazing, bro.
The gift,
Um,
man.
so before we get out of here, man, I know you got an EP coming out, right? So I want
Yeah.
you tell everybody, about the EP coming. When should we expect it? Any big features and um, yeah, let us know a little bit about the EP coming.
The EP will definitely be dropping sometime next year. I don't have an exact date, but I'm hoping to top, next year the first quarter. Definitely gonna have Pap and Jim on there. A big surprise, and probably a couple more names on there. We're not sure yet, but we working on an EP and an album. So we'll probably be dropping some more singles to heat up, and definitely drop something because
So
I want to give people a body of work to really understand what kind of artist I am. Because the thing with me is I feel like you can't put me in a box, and if I give you a body of work, you'll be able to understand, what type of artist I am. I feel like some of the best artists, like I get a lot of DMX comparison, not really for the rap, but just the way I touch emotions and different things like that. Um, I think his body of work after listening to a couple albums, is fire.
that's an amazing blueprint to
Yeah,
not necessarily follow, but to kind of study, right? Because you're absolutely right. I talked about it earlier in this interview, bro. Like some of the best artists to me evoke that emotion, right? Whether it makes you cry, what makes you laugh, what makes you think,
yeah.
makes you feel, right? So that's something that I think that's a blueprint that you should continue to study. And as long as you got that mind state, my brother, you're gonna reach the moon and the stars and everything up there, man. So um, I appreciate you coming up here, man. Thank you so much. I know your time is limited, but I really want to make sure that we came together and promoted the records and let everybody know what's coming next. And I know we're gonna be hearing from you soon. So when we get ready to drop that EP, man, I want to have you back up here and we'll talk a little more
Okay,
about
man. I'm here.
the project, man. Before we
I'm
get
here.
out of here, let everybody know where they can reach you on socials. You know, any social
Uh,
media platform you got, let them know where they can reach you at and hit you up.
TikTok, Instagram at IMC Jizzle. IAMCJIZZLE. Hit me up, man.
Yeah, make sure y'all tap in with C. Jamison, man. Like I said, he got 2 records out here blazing, feeling with Jim Jones. Feel like I feel like with Papoose. Shout to Mars, shout to the whole team, shout to Permanent Stain, man. A lot more to come. Like I said, all the music's gonna be linked below in this description. So make sure that y'all subscribe, y'all share, and make sure y'all stay in tune with what C. Jamison doing. My brother, I appreciate you, man. Salute.
Thank you for having me, Vinny. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. I'll talk to you
Permanent
soon, man.
Stain. You
Peace.
heard? MPB. Vinny,
Yeah,
love.
yo,
Thank you for
let me
having me,
tell
my
y'all
brother.
something, man. Y'all gonna see this guy on BT Jams, MTV Jams, whatever's out there. The video's coming soon to mass amount of outlets, man. So just again, this wave is starting to kind of come up. So make sure that y'all get on top of the wave and see what we about to do up here, man. I'm excited to be a part of it. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm honored. I appreciate y'all, keeping me in the loop and let me play a part of it, even though it's a small part. You know what I mean? I love to see people win and artists like you, man. I want to make sure that we get out there to the masses. So again, I appreciate y'all. Much love, man. And like I said, stay tuned, man. We'll be in contact soon, bro.
All right. Thank you for having me, Vinny.
Peace, man. Anytime, brother. One.